great to see you. It's been a hot minute. Episode 2 of my podcast. It has literally been months. I've been trying to figure some things out with technology and technical difficulties and stuff, and I finally got around to it. So I finished everything up. I'm gonna flip to the front in a second. We're going over OCD today. Just a note, as you can tell, I am not a medical professional in any way, shape, or form, and I would not, this is only my version of it. I do this for me and sometimes for other people too. People who aren't very good at researching, people who just want to get all the facts right here so you don't have to search for it. So yeah, like I said, I'm not a medical professional in any way, shape, or form, and I will say this multiple times throughout this episode. I would not ever self-treat or self-diagnose unless you have been told by a professional, which then it wouldn't be by yourself. So, like I said, not a medical professional. Don't self-treat, don't self-diagnose. Listen to what medical professionals say, and if you have any concerns about your mental health or mental well-being, go talk to a professional. Not me. But anyway, so I'm gonna do this. OCD, the definition of OCD, which obsessive compulsive disorder, which is what it stands for, is a disorder where a person will have compulsive thoughts or fears about simple tasks. It consists of repetitive behaviors due to belief that something will happen if you don't do these compulsions, which later in these notes, you're gonna see why that happens. So, I don't know if this is just my observations, and I don't know if you guys have seen the show Everybody Loves Raymond, but Robert, the older brother from that sitcom, he will touch his food to his chin every time he every time he eats or takes a bite, which might just be him being weird, but that could be a compulsion or something, that something bad might happen if you don't do that. So it could just be a habit, or it could be a compulsion. I don't know, it doesn't say in the show. Some random fun facts that I want to tell you guys. Also, by the way, trigger warning, if you don't want to hear about symptoms and stuff, including anxiety, all that fun stuff, then see you later, I guess, because that will be mentioned. But it's not that bad. It's not serious at all. Well, it is, but you know what I meant. Some fun facts. Leonardo DiCaprio suffers from OCD. I found that in an interview. He said he has to resist walking through every single door that he sees, or every single walkway he sees. So, thought that was interesting. Around 48% of people with OCD have it from genetics, genetically passed on. And trichotillomania is a form of OCD, and if you don't know what trichotillomania is, it's the compulsion of hair pulling eyebrows, eyelashes, scalp hair, all of that fun stuff. Yeah. Symptoms: compulsive behavior, agitation, hoarding, hypervigilance, impulsivity, repetition of words or actions, ritualistic behavior, social isolation, anxiety, guilt, panic attacks, food aversion, nightmares, or repeating thoughts like lists. Some OCD compulsions or obsessions. Some of the obsessions are germs contamination, religious behaviors and religious obsessions, bad thoughts becoming reality, obsessed over that, obsession of somebody being sick, hurt, or dying that you love, obsession of luck omens, bad luck omens, whether something is harmful or not, safety, all that, and everything being in a certain order, and everything being under control, and unwanted, violent, or taboo thoughts. Compulsions to help relieve the anxiety of these obsessions are repeatedly counting things, excessive washing and cleaning, constantly checking that things are locked, turned off, etc., etc., redoing or rewriting / erasing words and things repeatedly, making sure that it is picture perfect, repeating words, phrases, or questions, and constantly asking for reassurance, like, am I gonna be okay? Are you sure I'm gonna be fine? Or, you sure you love me? All that fun stuff. Touching, tapping, stepping in an unusual way, counting steps, stepping over cracks, stepping on cracks on sidewalks, walking through stuff, that. Touching, tapping, having to touch any certain thing that you see, tapping in a certain way anytime something happens, counting and praying repeatedly, which kind of goes back to the religious obsession, which if you pray and if you're religious, that's okay. That doesn't mean you have OCD. It's when you obsess over it that it might become a problem. And avoiding situations that can trigger obsessions and compulsions. Yeah, that's what this whole slip of paper was. How to spot it, how to spot it. There are 4 different subtypes of OCD, which are clean and contamination, symmetry and ordering, harmful and taboo thoughts, which is 3. Anyway, seeing these things are easy to spot sometimes, like for repetitive actions, behavior, body language, all that fun stuff. You don't necessarily have to point it out to someone. If they want to share it to you, if they're comfortable sharing it to you, then they can. You don't have to make someone share it with you. I would not recommend doing that. Treatments are therapy, support groups, cognitive behavioral therapy, aversion, psychoeducation, rational emotive behavior, exposure response prevention, psychotherapy, systematic desensitization, group psychotherapy, certain medications, SSRIs, anxiolytic, antidepressants, things like that for medication. Yeah, that's my first page. I don't have as much on this as I do with my other episode on PTSD, which was kind of not what I was going for, but you know, it is what it is. Just a quick note before I start this page, OCD can worsen with age. I just want to share that. Once again, don't self-treat. All those treatments and stuff I list on this page, all those treatments. Go talk to a psychiatrist, therapist, talk about it to a professional, and you can get whatever figured out. Everybody has experienced an intrusive thought before, multiple times, at least once a day. Those scary or anxious thoughts that come out of nowhere. Those thoughts like, what if this building catches on fire, or what if I suddenly hurt myself, or what if I suddenly stab myself with this, what if I suddenly burn myself on the stove, but you don't actually do anything about those. OCD will have you have an intrusive thought accompanied with a task or compulsion. For example, if a person with OCD is brushing their teeth, they could get an intrusive thought telling them that if they don't flush the toilet twice, that someone in their family could get hurt, which, just a random example. I don't know, that could be a repetitive thing for someone, I don't know. It was just a random example I thought of, just to kind of give you a vision. Where was I? The intrusive thoughts may sound ridiculous to one person, but they are really real in this other person's mind, and this other person knows that most of the time they understand that, you know, nothing's gonna happen. not going to be the end of the world if I don't do this, but I'll get to in my next section why they do this, and they understand, but they just can't help themselves. And you can't really tell someone, just don't do it, just stop. You realize, like, it's overcoming a fear. It's not overcoming a fear or phobia. It's not going off the high diving board at the water park. It's not like that at all. Which is like telling someone with trichotillomania, the hair pulling, that's like telling them to stop. They want to, but they can't. That's why you seek medical professional help. You can't just have someone tell you to stop. It's, oh, you have depression? Just be happy. Oh, you have anxiety? Just calm down. You don't do that. No. So why would you tell someone just to stop when they have OCD? Let's take a look at what goes on inside the brain. Dr. Laura Menzies and colleagues at a university carried out a study where they took people with OCD, their immediate family members, and random undiagnosed people from the public. The study showed that people with OCD had less gray matter in the part of the brain thought to be important in suppressing responses and habits. Other studies show that OCD disrupts the communication between the frontal cortex and the ventral striatum, which I'm gonna, like, somewhere like right here-ish. It's kind of in a mix of things. The ventral striatum controls reward-based behavior and decision-making. So usually the frontal cortex and the ventral striatum will work together to solve problems in a way that is reward-based. Like, you get something out of solving the problem. They work together to create that. OCD disrupts this communication. Where was I? OCD tricks the brain into thinking that rituals and compulsions will solve these obsessive thoughts instead. So, like, instead of solving these obsessions or obsessive thoughts in the way that a neurotypical person would, like, solving it in a way that's better for us, OCD will trick the brain into having compulsions that don't necessarily solve the problem. And because these only work temporarily in most situations, the ventral striatum motivates you to repeat these compulsions and makes you believe that eventually there will be a reward. And that's why there are so many repetitive thoughts, so many repetitive, like, thoughts and stuff, and why they can constantly have these obsessions, like the hair pulling, excessive washing and cleaning, like germophobia and all that. That's a form of OCD, so on and so forth. I don't remember what else I had, but that's all I have in my notes. So that's OCD. If you want to, make sure to like, subscribe. I don't post these too often, but I do post other content, shorts, things like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you in another video, I guess. Bye.